Shut up and sit down.
And welcome to the Week 14 edition of the BlackSwarm podcast. Hank Piper with Rob Antonell and his newly discovered hate for playoff football. So, big win over Teays Valley, and apparently it's pronounced Teays Valley, according to the announcer at the game. So that's a fun fact that nobody should care about. Rob, I know you didn't give two shits about the game, so what was your opinion on anything you might have heard, read, saw about it?
Yeah, so at one point our offense ran 4 plays and we had 42 points on the scoreboard.
That's correct.
I can't believe anybody gave me shit for not driving 5 hours to watch that. Playoff football is amazing. So we said it was going to be a horrible game. It was. Massillon went out there, did what you're supposed to do against horrible teams. You get your second stringers in there in the first half of a playoff game, and then you prepare for the long ride home. Fortunately, this week should be a slightly better opponent and regional championship, so at least you get a trophy at the end of it. But yes, it's not my disdain for playoff football. It's how much I dislike the matchups we've been getting. And, we can't control the matchups, but you can't force me to like it either.
I know I can't force you to like anything, but I'm still going to give you shit for it. You say it was a bad game. I say it was the worst game I've ever seen in my life. It was just like stupid in the funnest way possible. I think they won the coin toss. They got the ball. It's like, all right, let's, do something here. And I mean, they did their best, I guess. I don't know if they have a special teams coordinator. I think he might come from the same coaching tree as TCU's defensive coordinator a couple years ago.
Oh, boy.
And it was just, it was tough. I mean, we were up 14-0 before our offense got a chance to touch the ball. We stuffed them like 3 and out, I think. And give them credit. I kind of saw what they were trying to go for. They're run-first team, and obviously our defense is hard to run on. They were trying to go with like double tight end sets, just really spreading out the box with blockers, and trying to go for that like Virgin Catholic-y way that they ran the ball down our throat, except they don't have the cats that Virgin Catholic does. So, they get stuffed, punt it, and we return it for a touchdown. Next series, same thing. Hack returns his second one. The third one, and I know I was talking to my dad about this, and I think he mentioned it before I even said anything, was like their operation was just slow on those punts. And I was honestly kind of surprised we didn't really like block one, because the third punt attempt they tried, it wasn't so much we blocked it, it was the punter just kind of fumbled the ball, and we got back there in time to make a tackle before he could try and get it off. And, we get the ball at their 7-yard line, one run play, handed off to Lennox, and he's in for a touchdown. The next time we touched the ball, they punted it. I think it was out of bounds. It was unreturnable. Technically, it was 3 plays. We were going for a shot play on first down, and we got called for a false start. Then we run, I think it was some kind of run play, but we just hit tolls on the backside hitch. And then next play, just, good old smash post, touchdown for 70-some yards. They followed it up with a 12-play drive that we assisted them with 4 penalties on key, down and distances that they ended up getting a touchdown out of. And then they kicked the ball off, and Hack makes... it started off as like a hell of an athletic play. I have it in film room, but it's worth at least talking about for people that don't watch our film room. Is he had his heels on the goal line, kick looked like it was going to sail over his head, and he jumps up, snatches that thing out of the air, comes down with his heel actually on the goal line, and returns it that's now the Massillon record kickoff return, 100 yards, 100 real yards. And then after that, we stop them again. They punted again for some reason. I don't know why they thought that would keep working, but it did on this one. And this was Hack's heat check return where he just tried to basically turn the corner to the long side of the field, gets tackled for what is basically a 0-yard return. And at least their fans were good sports about it. They got up, they started cheering, they were getting into it a little bit because, they knew what was happening. And it was like you can either sit here and be miserable or sit here and have fun with it. But we get the ball, just good old power up the middle, and Gamble takes it to the house. And then after that, there's like 3.5 minutes left on the clock. Second team's already in. So it wasn't even a game to start with, but just the insanity of it was fun in a way you normally don't see these just absolute beatdowns go.
Yeah, I mean, there were some talking points. Hack's returns were really cool, and it's fun to talk about. But I'm not mad that I didn't go.
That's it?
Yeah.
All right, you just finished the sentence like you were like leading into the next statement.
No, the next statement is just the next segment for me. But no, I had no reason to go to that. 5 hours sitting in a car to watch that game, not worth it. So I didn't go.
All right. Well, I really don't have any other talking points. Thanks for coming out, Teays. They did get one more score in the second half, but that was off of an offensive fumble, and their defense returned it. So, our defense, the second team, and I imagine the third teamers didn't allow them to get into the end zone again. We came back and got another score to get the running clock back, and that's all she wrote. I can understand week one we're going to be playing inferior opponents, but like at this point, that would still be a regular playoff team, which is surprising and kind of speaks to the level of competition in the field this year, which we've kind of touched on a little bit, but it is what it is, and you can only play the guys in front of you. So with that, I can see Rob just absolute look of disdain on his face still talking about this game, so we'll move it right along into film. Alrighty, got the first one here. This would be Hack's first punt return for a tutty.
The old max protect, no gunners, no fanning out. Punt formation.
Yeah.
Untouched.
Hard to believe how that happened, huh?
I mean, it looks like we were setting up like a return right, but the fact that they don't have anybody on this entire half of the field.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, down there, the furthest guy to the left is in the middle of the field. Their left tight end guy.
Yeah.
The only one, and he's almost on the right hash. There's. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, that's their special teams coach. Got it.
Yep.
We're playing a good team when you wear black on gray.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciate the nice little change up, and like I say about the gray pants, I like the look, maybe like once a year, and you save it for a team like this.
Yeah, I mean, that gray is the color you should be renovating your old classic homes walls in.
Uh-huh.
Take that old house with all the character and paint it that color gray, but it's not what you wear as a uniform.
Yeah, it doesn't really go with it with like our current uniform, sets, I guess, kits, whatever you want to call it, but just a little change up here and there is good. I like the variety. We have 2 different black, a white, and an orange, like full sets. You should be able to mix and match a little bit. I'm still pounding on the fucking table for black hats, black jerseys, and orange pants because that is just a 10 out of 10 look right there. But, I'll take a little change up front and for this rather than having 8 straight weeks of black on black on black. So I'll take what I can get. This is a nice little start. All right, next one.
Yeah, they really don't fan out or break down at all, do they?
No, not really. Not really their forte. Like I said,
And their contained guy gets pancaked. So like, there's just no one out here at all.
yeah. Um, uh, you get a better view of the punt return from this rather than the end zone angle, which was on Hack's highlight film. The one thing I'm kind of mad you don't get from this angle is as Hack is running it in, the guy next to him, that's like, kind of the classic, like, we're getting this return in, let me just get slightly behind you and hold the arms out so nobody can get to you. As they're going in, they high five, like, on the 2-yard line. And it's just one of those, like, that's how seriously we're taking it at this point. Yeah. All right. I guess we can let it roll one more time just to appreciate it. But last but not least from this one, I did go with the end zone angle on this so you can really appreciate, like, the catch Hack makes to, number one, keep it from going into the end zone, going up and getting it, all of that stuff.
Yeah, that ref was like, yeah, whatever. He started running, whatever.
Yeah.
Roll the clock, we're good. See what we got going on here this time. All right, over pursuing, leaving a humongous. Yep. Oh shit. Okay. I was just watching them run down the field, and they naturally formed that on their own. Like, we didn't have to block that hole; they just did that. I mean, just watch. They completely lived this hash. You got two guys on the end that are both doing contain for some reason, and the rest of them just go to the other hash. And I'm not saying like we're not blocking it up, but they made that hole naturally. Like, pause it here.
Yeah, that's a pretty decent return lane that we didn't have to put too much effort into making ourselves.
Yeah, keep your distance, have your marks where you're going down the field. Everybody's responsible for a certain, spacing.
Mm-hmm.
Or just everybody run directly to the ball. And if he moves horizontally at all, we're screwed. I appreciate them doing double man contain for some reason.
Yeah.
But then having everybody else just headhunt the ball. I mean, obviously that's not going to leave any gaps when you have six guys going down a tackle, 4 guys completely out of the picture.
Yeah, it's a tough look.
I mean, shout out the kicker for like actually kind of being in the play here, because you'd think he's out of it here. Like, he's going to get outrun. Kicker must be a decent athlete because, he runs with Hack all the way down there.
Yeah, I honestly thought
even kind of attempts to tackle at the end. I mean, good hustle, kid.
I thought he was going to get him there, watching it live, and I'm like, come on, let's just for the bit, like, let's get in there, kid. What do we think? This is a Bo Grunder-esque performance from our boy Hackenbrack here. 3 kick returns on the night.
Yeah.
I wonder what is the record for amount of, like, punt and kick returns by one player in a game.
I don't know. Good question. You talking like strictly Maslin or
yeah.
Maslin?
Let's see. I'm sure MaslinTigers.com has that somewhere. I could only assume. Now they have a big old history. Let's see here.
I appreciate Salvino, really blocking under the whistle here.
Where's he at?
He's the one chasing this guy down here, gets hands on him, and then continues to chase him down the sideline for the next 30 yards and shoves him again.
Hey, effort.
40 yards behind the ball carrier. It's good. Listen, it is. It is good effort, right?
Yeah.
And the play's not over till the play's over.
Yeah.
But there's also a time to like, hey, maybe lay off. Just some refs don't like that shit, you know.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Like there's going to be one ticky tack ref out there that's like, oh, that's unnecessary. It's a legal block, but they call it unnecessary roughness, or or like whatever. And,
yeah, I mean, I would. Let's see here, single game. For the bit, I'm saying like good effort, and there is like a legitimate part that's like, yeah, that's good effort there. But
no, it is. I mean, it is good effort.
Yeah,
I mean,
but
you're chasing down your guy and you don't stop.
But to your point, you have to have that awareness of you're 40 yards behind the play, nothing's going to happen. Only bad things really can happen if I block this guy. Because, like, best case scenario, I'm blocking a dude that's 40 yards out of the play.
Yeah.
Worst case, well, I mean, I guess if there's not a single referee looking at it at that point. But, yeah, worst case scenario, you get a flag 15 yards and that whole thing gets called back.
Yeah, we would have got the ball at, the 20, 30-ish, 35. Our own 35, I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you let the same play roll 10 times. I'm just going to sit here and watch it.
All right, let's see here. No, I don't want win streaks. I want returns. Website's being a tad buggy right now. Open a new tab. How about that?
While Hank tries to look this up, we'd like to take a moment to mention all of our great sponsors we have here on the show.
Oh, we have sponsors?
No, but this is where we would say it if we did.
Why would we
not have sponsors? It's because it takes you 20 minutes to look something up and while you stall the show.
No, I know why we don't have sponsors. That's because we suck. There's nothing, and I mean no records. It's all yards. It's all return yards and like amount of returns. There's no return touchdowns. All right. That's your new project, Donnie Boy, is getting amount of return touchdowns for punts, kickoffs, and all that good stuff into MasslandTigers.com, because nobody cares how many punt return yards you have or kickoff. If you have the record for kickoff return yards in a game, that means you got scored on like 8 fucking times. That's a bad record that does not need to be in there. Give us return touchdowns in a game. That's what we want.
Unless you have like 3 90-yard returns in the same game.
That's true. But, like, tell me that. I mean, you got, like, punt return amounts, I guess. That's neat. Let's see. Longest punt returns. Kick return yards.
If you were savvy, you would just, like, throw this onto the same screen so we could see what you're looking at while you do it. It'd probably break the whole stream, but
dude, this as much as I do, this entire operation is duct tape and prayers. I'm not going to like on the fly try something new like that because it's just gonna absolutely fuck everything up.
You know what else is held together by duct tape and prayers? My attention span. Get on with it. Let's go, buddy.
All right, we'll keep her on moving then. We got some running back highlights against a, local team from Big Walnut.
Okay, all right. Looks okay. Take that, Perry, safety. I feel like I'm watching a middle school game right now.
I mean, it's kind of a tough scene watching a guy get chased down from behind by, a Perry player, but kind of is what it is.
I mean, this one cornerback's got to be 120 pounds.
Which one? Down here at the bottom?
Yeah, I mean, he looks like a middle schooler.
Yeah.
Second effort, boys. You're not going to arm tackle him. Not when you weigh 120 pounds, you're not.
All right.
Wait, was it actually Perry?
Yeah, that was actually Perry.
Ah, shit. Oh, man, I was joking. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, no, that was like...
I mean, like, the white and black, like, kind of made... I think that's probably what spurred me to think Perry.
Yeah.
But I was just, like, looking at how they're lined up and, like, how absolutely small and bad they looked. And I was like, oh, that reminds me of Perry.
Yeah, no, that was legitimately our Maslin Perry.
Oh, shit, we can look up how small that corner is.
I mean, you can do that because apparently my phone is just not cooperating right now. So, and like you said, you have the attention span that's not ideal. So we'll keep on moving. This one is the tight end. Now, who's
how about black? How about black, white, orange?
Yeah. I mean, the white's a good look. White, orange is my absolute favorite. I think black, white, orange is good, but like I need more away games for that. Honestly, I would take it over the black, white, black.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Then you just look like Barry.
Yeah. Give me black, white, white. I remember we wore that for the Glen Oak game my senior year. And I don't think we've like worn that since. So it's been like 12 years since we've had that look, and it is fucking sharp, dude.
Is this Ashland?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me some black, white, white on there. Honestly, kind of a missed opportunity last year when we played Anderson. Because I think they went with white, black, black. And if we had went with the black, white, white, you get that just like nice, clean, inverse contrast going, which just makes for quite the aesthetic. Alrighty. Anything of note from the tight end you see?
To be honest, I don't even think he was the guy I was watching this whole time. I mean, no, I kind of just been watching their offense of plays and sets in general.
Yeah.
Well, let's see here. Why would he put that on his highlight tape? Because he shoved a kid?
Probably.
He got blown off of his block. Shoved a kid at the end and put it on his highlight tape.
Yep.
Kid, you lost that rep. You actively didn't do what you were supposed to do, and then you put it on a highlight tape because you thought you looked cool at the end. Do you think college coaches are watching your highlight tapes, or do you think girls from your math class are watching your highlight tape? Because I can tell you, the ones actually watching this don't respect that rep at all.
I mean, he's definitely setting up his highlight tape to be like, played at the bar 5 years from now and look really cool to guys that have no idea what they're watching.
Well, he better not go to any bar and start counting.
Yeah, he's down in Columbus. I doubt he'll make it up this far.
Yeah, oh, so you designed chips at the IBM factory, huh? Oh, yeah, that's cool. Look at me get pushed around by a high score.
Yeah.
Listen, everybody has bad reps.
Mm-hmm.
You just don't put them on your highlights.
And with that little word of wisdom, we'll keep it moving to probably their best player, Stover, their Jack Backer. Kind of a...
This isn't the Stover, is it? He wouldn't go to a school like this.
No, this is... Oh, God, what's his name?
Clint Stover.
Yep.
By far their best defensive player.
I mean, he looks pretty good on tape. He's
Okay, so what? He's the third. He's the third Stover brother.
yes.
Okay.
So the oldest brother would be the Cade Stover at Ohio State, right?
Yeah, I mean, I guess like you have the lineage by this point. You can go to whatever school you want to.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I guess it's a good thing they had Cade because I couldn't imagine like trying to get Ohio State scholarship offers while going to this school.
Yeah. I mean, he looks pretty good on tape. Like, he's a nice game wrecker. They can move him around a bit. Obviously, he's best rushing the passer, but he's decent working the curl flat and coverage.
Yeah, no, he can be a great player.
Hmm?
It's just hard to get noticed.
Yeah.
He read that really well. I'll give him that. He saw that like tight end or whatever step out,
Mm-hmm.
and he just super squeezed underneath of it. You can tell he's got some additional coaching in him besides what I'm assuming you get out of Big Walnut naturally.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a really good move too. But coming from a lot of depth there.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely like to move him around quite a bit, get him coming from all different directions. Don't always telegraph when he's coming or not, but
Yeah, I think it might be this next play. Let's see. It's an end zone view, the one I'm looking for.
yeah. I mean, here he does, like, of note, I think it's a read. Because you got, your tackle pulling, so you're not blocking the end. Really good job of just kind of taking it wide and still crashing down and making a play from behind. That's tough. Here you go.
Yeah, as soon as he sees that tight end step out like that, he just crashes. You can see he reads it and yeah.
Yep.
Unless it was a stunt where because it looks like they are looping. No, linebacker's reading it also. So yeah, I mean, just looks like a good. I mean, instantly reads that, gets in there, takes on a block.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good play.
Yeah, does a good job crashing inside, forcing it to bounce a little bit to your help, and bing, bang, boom.
Yeah, linebacker kind of scrapes right over the top. Maybe over pursues it a little bit, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice little just swim move right over the pulling guard. That is one way to defeat counter Trey. I'll tell you that much.
yeah, good player.
Yep. So that is all we got in film, and we'll keep it moving right along to our Big Walnut preview. All right, so coming in, we got Big Walnut currently sitting at 12-1, the number 10 team in Ohio in Division 2, and the number 1 seed in Region 7. They dropped their opening game to Bishop Watterson, who's currently 13-0. They lost that one 20-0, but have been on a tear since. Not necessarily a lot of good teams on their schedule. Their best teams are 7-5, 7-4. But it looks like they handled business. The only one that really took them to the wire was a 6-5 Westerville North, who they beat in overtime 31-32. And then, in the playoffs, they beat a 12-1 Ashland 28-10. So coming into Friday night, we're probably going to be the toughest team that they've seen so far. So, Rob, I'll kick it to you, and let's take a look at their offense.
Right. If we start with the offensive line, it's kind of a mix and match. Grab bag here. Sophomore, 2 seniors, 2 juniors. 6'2", 280, 5'8", 210, 5'11", 260, 6'3", 240, 6'4", 275. So got a little bit of size there. You got a guy or two that are maybe a little undersized as well.
Yeah, I mean, as far as names go, you got Matt Green, Darren Barr, Jack Kello, Kellogg, Jake Wecker, and Jackson Parsons. I mean, nothing really sticks out. I think this is like, the consummate 5 out of 10 offensive line. Nothing to really say one way or the other, which in and of itself is actually a pretty good thing. You got that lunch pail mentality, nothing really sticking out. So with that, it actually bumps them up to a clean 7.5 out of 10.
Okay. So the fact that their names are a 5 out of 10
Yeah.
actually makes them a 7 out of 10.
Yeah. 7.5 out of 10. Just this, it's like your lunch.
Tight end, 6'4", 225. Junior, another guy out there, 5'11", 210. Senior, we watched the junior, that starting tight end.
Yep.
The one that apparently thinks the girl in his pre-calc class watches huddle highlights. We watched his highlight out there, 6'4", 225.
I mean, hey, whatever gets you the date to homecoming. But, my boy Owen Pollock and then Peyton Adams and then Jackson Bowers, pretty solid, if not otherwise nondescript tight end names. So I'll give it a 6.8 out of 10.
Receiver room, junior, senior, junior, sophomore, 5'10", 165, 6'1", 185, 6'4", 225, 6'2", 185, 6'1", 185. This is just kind of like all over the place because they move their kids around. So some of these are repeats, like Owen Pollock, the homecoming king. Running backs included in that list. Another one of their tight ends included in that list. So really the two receivers they have listed are 5'10", 165, 6'1", 185.
Yeah, the two receivers they have listed, you have Brody and Aiden, much more of a lacrosse name there, so not ideal. But my boy Brody Hatfield, gotta have some lineage from the Hatfields and McCoys there, so just like that factor alone bumps him up from like a 3.8 to call it a 4.7.
Okay.
Actually, no, we're back down to 4.0 because my boy Aiden West here, I mean, he's not a dude at all, and I just noticed he's wearing number 0, which is reserved for dudes. So the fact that he's wearing that one thinks a little too highly of himself. We're down to just a plain Jane 4.
Yeah, they have two receivers. One's number 2, one's number 0.
Yeah. I mean, 2's fine for a receiver. That's like, that's just what the trend's going to these days, I guess. But yeah, unless you're the stud on the team, you shouldn't be wearing 0, kid. Sorry.
Yeah, I agree with that. QB is a sophomore, 6'3", 180.
Eli Stumpf. Tough last name. I mean, the PH at the end where you like PF at the end where you have to pronounce it just Stumpf. No, just no. There's a reason they run the ball a lot, and it's because their quarterback's name is Stumpf.
Yeah, I mean, it's strictly a name thing. I mean, 6'3", 180 sophomore with the last name Stumpf. And probably means you're going to hand it off to your sophomore running back, Nolan, 6'1", 185. We watched his film, don't arm tackle him, but then again, don't play for Perry. So,
yeah, depending on how you pronounce his last name will tell me a lot about him. If his name's like Nolan Burley and there's just a weird I in there, I like it. Got power runner. He's not gonna beat you with speed, but if you're just that kind of dude and your last name's Burley, then yeah, I'm all in. If it's like Burley or some weird kind of
Burley,
that's a little too finesse for me. I can't do it. So we're just, I don't care if you're the best player. Get me in. I need you in like number. What's an ugly running back number? 27.
Eddie George,
29.
Oh yeah, 29's not good.
Yeah, no bueno.
No, that's like they're wondering if you also play corner and you're not good at either one.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like third string JV running back number right there. It's like, nobody else really wanted it, and you're a sophomore, you're not that good, you're just happy not to get a number in the 90s.
Yeah, I was interested to see where you're going to go with that because I'm like, any running back number in the 20s sounds good. I'm like, I'm going through the list and I just didn't make it high enough because I'm like 29. Oh yeah, that's bad.
Yeah,
That one's no good.
yeah, no, it was.
So like the rest of them they all play a part.
Yeah,
You really can't go wrong in the 20s.
I mean, an even 20 is like kind of weird.
Mhm.
I almost said 21.
Yeah, you gotta be a scat back.
Oh yeah, for sure. I almost said 21, then I remembered Gamble. 22, the double number's pretty solid. 23, 24, 25, 26, good. 27, it's like, you don't really see that one back there. 28, just something about the roundness of both numbers. I can dig it, but 29,
Yeah.
no, can't do it.
Yeah, 29's not good. No. Uh-uh. Not happening. Anything else in their offense?
No, I'll cover just the offense and defense overview at the end.
Defensive line. 6'2", 215, 6'2", 220, 6'2", 205. Oh God. Okay.
What was that?
Me realizing that their biggest lineman is 220 as their nose tackle.
Yeah.
Do they are they running a 3 down? No, they have that Obi. So oh boy.
They structurally it's a 3 down, and they move the Obi around and kind of get him coming from all different directions. But if you're like,
at least they have a really good jackbacker because you can't run a 3 down system with that size.
no,
So they're not real big up front. What does Hank think of their names?
I mean,
And numbers.
numbers, it's a tough scene. 53 on the defensive line, normally, not bad. I can dig it, except you're a 3-4 nose guard. You got to have that number in the 90s, but then again, you're 6 foot 220, so like everything is out of place with you, so it almost kind of works this way. But your two defensive ends are 34 and 32, and then your backup rotational guy is number 41. Ugh. Then you have Landon, Maston, Riley, and Brody. This is a lacrosse team that they had to recruit to fill their football team. There is nothing about this that I like. Let
me tell you, their height and weights, like that screams like professional lacrosse player.
Yeah.
I mean, 6'2", 205, you go, oh, wait, good athlete. All right, 6'2", 205. Is he like roaming around? Is he a hybrid? Like free safety, strong safety? You got him out as a Sam? Mm-hmm. No, he plays with his hand in the dirt. Oh, never mind. Okay.
Honestly, the more I look at this, besides number 41, if we can get him, like either bump him inside or get him in a different number, this is actually a pretty solid 3-4 like linebacker room.
Yeah, if Mastignano, number 53, was your Mike.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you'd be like, hey, these guys, they got it going on. They're just one level off.
Yep.
Yeah,
you're in a good spot. You should be 5 yards off the ball. Instead, you're right up on the line of scrimmage, hand in the dirt. Oh, boy, just bad vibes all around for this unit.
What is Hack listed at?
210? 215?
Well, we go to their linebackers. 6', 175, 5'11", 205, 6'2", 195.
Yeah. I guess number 5, Jax Lawrence. That's actually a pretty solid linebacker name overall. Great Sam linebacker number. I can dig it. Eli Helton, number 22, is a horrible number for a Mike backer. That's bad. That is a scat back running back. A tough scene. Lou Roberto, number 7, your Will, and then obviously, Clint Stover, number 8, he's their dude. They move him all around. I'm taking him out just because of how much of a dude he is and just the Stover name and all that. But, you have nothing but skill guy numbers in your linebacking room and, not even great ones for the defensive side of the ball at that.
Mm-hmm.
Tough scene.
Yeah, not crazy about that. Hack is listed at 6'2", 210.
210, look at me go.
Yeah, and if you told me he was a little bit bigger than that, I would 100% believe you. I think that 210 might be underselling it just a little bit. But Hack he's a really big safety. I could see him being like a Sam linebacker. But the fact that they only have one guy in their entire box that is the equivalent size of Hack.
Oh, that's tough.
Literally, they only have one person that is his size. Okay, they have a lineman at 215, a lineman at 220. I'm gonna round up and say Hack is probably also around 220.
And I would also hazard to guess these guys are rounding up as well
But you don't round down when you're a defensive lineman.
No.
Unless you're like 305 and it's like 295 sounds better. But if you're 220, you're not rounding down like, oh yeah, I'm actually 228, but
yeah.
I like to look small.
Yeah, that's what I want my defensive end to do is list himself smaller.
Well, both your ends were wearing numbers in the 30s. They're not really going for bulk.
No. And the fact that Hack is just splitting the difference between them both, it might be let's call it a quick game, just because of how much we're going to run the fucking ball down their throat.
Yeah, find the Stover kid and just run away from him.
Yeah, dust off the 2012 Austintown Fitch offensive game plan, which was identify Billy Price and run the opposite way.
I mean, it works. Safeties. 6'1", 190, 5'10", 180. Number 15 and number 6.
You got Jake Neff back there. Shout out to his parents for not naming him Jeff, because that would have just been a very tough name. And then my boy Austin Motorcycle Company.
Okay.
What? Kawasaki?
No, I mean, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
But
very juxtaposition.
Austin Dirt Bike's kind of cool, but
actually,
not really the guy. Not really the guy leading your secondary.
I like Austin Dirt Bike fits. That is absolutely a name I would see coming out of a Central Ohio cornfield school. That is, you know what? 10 out of 10 safety names right there, just for my boy Austin Dirt Bike.
Take that from Austin Dirt Bike. Okay. Let's go into the corners. 5'10", 165, 5'8", 150.
So you have our receiver there, Brody Hatfield, which, a pretty Caucasian name if I've ever seen one. And then, you know what, they rounded out with the just odd-looking name, Judah Stewart, but Judah. Listen, if he comes out wearing 20 wristbands and has dreads, I'm all in. If he's kind of showy, just dude of a corner, yep, that's it. Perfect. I understand 5'8", 150, probably not.
I don't think that's what you're getting. Number 4, Judah Sturt.
Yeah.
Judah Sturt on the tackle.
Judah Sturt. So, yeah, kind of overall, offensively, they like to pound the fucking rock. They are extremely multiple with their formations. If y'all don't remember the last time we played them, they like to move the tackles and tight ends around, pre-snap shifts, get to some unbalanced looks. They run a little bit of empty. They'll bump their, starting tight end. He's in the game almost all of the time, either with his hand in the dirt blocking, or they can split him out wide and throw the ball at them a little bit. Running back can split out wide too, get some empty looks. They'll run some jet sweep. They will run the quarterback a little bit. Is a nice changeup. Obviously, offense is going through the running back, not the quarterback as far as running the ball goes, but they can throw it in there. And, I mean, it's nothing we haven't seen before schematically. Personnel might be a little bit different, but, our at least a good amount of our defensive staff has game planned for this team before, so it shouldn't be anything too awfully new. Defense, they are a true 3-4 odd front. They'll move Stover around, strong side, weak side, play him off the ball in coverage, but he's their dude. He is, if it's a passing down, they're probably going to have him rushing the passer because that's what he's best at. Look for him to blow up a couple plays. It's just going to happen. It's not saying anything negative about our offense, but when you're playing a dude like that, it's high school ball. You win some, you lose some against guys like this, and, we might lose a couple. Let's see here. They do run a little bit of cover 3 and cover 4, predominantly zone. They will blitz a little bit. They might play a little bit of man depending on the matchup, but you might have a hard time manning up against our guys with what they have to offer. So that's kind of an overall look at their offense and defense.
Cool.
So you got anything more on them before we move into spreads?
I do not, no.
All right, let's keep her moving then.
All right, so I haven't looked at the spreads yet.
Okay.
So this is going to be a first for the both of us. In what is all but likely the game of the week, Walsh versus Hoban. Walsh beat Hoban in the regular season, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hoban is favored by 2.5.
Oh, all right. Hard to beat a team twice. Hoban has been down comparatively this year. I know they blew the brakes off whoever they played last week, but, only beat Lake by a touchdown the week before. I think I saw, this is still during the regular season or maybe going into the playoffs, that they had Walsh finishing as like the number 3 team in Division II in Ohio. Second, right behind Avon, and then right behind the betting favorites, which is Massillon. So, you know what? Give me Walsh in the upset.
We have Medina Highland versus Avon. Avon 9.5-point favorites. Sorry, I think there's a typo in here somewhere, and it really threw me off. Avon 9.5-point favorites versus Medina Highland.
Avon, they're highly ranked this year, and for good reason. They're a good team. Give me Avon.
We have Cincinnati LaSalle versus Cincinnati Anderson. Anderson 12.5-point favorite.
Wow. Quite the spread in a regional final game.
Well, LaSalle's been down for a while. And Anderson at one point was like the number 1 ranked D2 team in the state.
Yeah, Anderson's good. Do we know if their whole no punting strategy was exclusively for us, or is that just something they always do?
I mean, they are kind of a gimmicky, spread, fast-paced, screen game, bullshit kind of team. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's kind of normal for them.
Yeah, they like to run it up. LaSalle's down, so give me Anderson.
In what could be a good game, Mentor versus St. Ed's. St. Ed's 2.5-point favorites.
Oh. I know Ed's is kind of downish this year.
Yeah. Mentor's up. But I also don't really think Mentor's as good as what their record says they are.
Gotcha. Give me Ed's. I like them.
I think Mentor only beat Ignatius by a score at the beginning of the year.
Oh, hammer Ed's then.
They smacked him in the playoffs.
Yeah.
As they should have. But, I mean, let's see. In here's a good game. These are regional championships. They're going to be good games.
Yeah.
But Saint Xavier versus Mohler.
Oh.
Two very public powerhouses. Local kids grew up in the streets playing in the parks right next to these schools.
Oh yeah, just hearing about the long storied history of each program and how it's
definitely grew up in Ohio and not Kentucky. Mohler 10.5 point favorites over St. Xavier.
Wow. Two schools with a lot of pride in their communities and the homegrown talent. Gonna be a rock fight. You said Mohler was the favorite?
Correct.
Give me Xavier, but I like Mohler outright.
Oh, how the mighty have fallen. Steubenville is playing Watterson, and Watterson is favored by 13.5.
Yikes. I don't know anything about Watterson, but I do know Steubenville is right on the water, so they should feel pretty at home in this game. So give me...
There are some water rats.
Yeah. So give me the River Rats to cover.
I'm guessing that their team is mostly made up of actual River Rats now because they're not that good anymore. Back when their team was made up of every kid from a 60-mile radius, they used to win football games. Let's see here. In the next game, we have Perry, Ohio, playing Glenville. Glenville 9.5.
Wow. Perry, not Madison Perry, has been pretty good this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know they've showed up on the spreads a couple times. But I don't know. It's just like I know it was 15 years ago that Glenville just mollywopped us, but
Hey, it wasn't that big of a difference. We hung in there.
So yeah, it was 15 years ago that Glenville mollywopped us, and that's just stuck in my head ever since. So give me Glenville.
Darnell Jones.
12 gauge. Is that one signed or not?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, I don't have anything in here that's not signed.
This guy.
Yeah, Cardell Jones was like the 10th best player on that Glenville team.
Yeah, which says quite a bit.
Dalton versus Kirtland. Kirtland 20.5.
Dalton's still in it, huh?
I guess so.
And this is like our Dalton, right? This isn't like some random Dalton from, up.
I don't know.
Like
don't know
south of Toledo or something. Kirtland good. I don't care how good Dalton is or how good they have been. I just have a decent idea of the community. Like my grandma lived there when I was growing up, so I was out there quite a bit, and it's like nothing but cornfields. And I can't wipe that cornfield stink idea of there never being a good cornfield school out of my head. So we're gonna go with Kirtland.
What? I mean, do you think once you get down to D6 that you're playing like inner city schools?
There's no real thought into this, Rob. It's nothing but vibes.
Well, the vibes are that Kirtland's really good. So
yeah. So give me Kirtland.
Kentucky at Texas. Texas 20.5.
Texas hasn't actually beaten anybody worth a damn. Kentucky always turns every game into a rock fight. Give me Kentucky.
Yes, they do. Ole Miss at Florida. Ole Miss by 10.5.
This seems like the perfect game for just the wheels to absolutely fall off of the Ole Miss hype train. So give me Florida.
We have BYU at Arizona State. Is BYU still unbeaten? Did they lose last week?
They lost, yeah.
Okay. About time. BYU at Arizona State. Arizona State by 2.5.
Arizona State is fighting for their lives for what could possibly be a Big 12 championship appearance. Are they in the Big 12? I think they're in the Big 12.
There's only 3 conferences. Pick one.
They're fighting for their lives for something, and BYU is also doing that, but I don't know. Arizona State just has a vibe to them this year of like a team that shouldn't be nearly as good as they are, and I think that's going to keep going, so give me Arizona State.
Texas A&M at Auburn. A&M by 2.5.
Everything about this game is yucky. Auburn is like listless at this point, and A&M at least has a decent defense based on the week 1 game against Notre Dame that I watched. So give me A&M.
Alabama at Oklahoma. Bama by 13.5.
Oklahoma, defense good, offense not good. Bama is no longer Bama as far as I'm concerned. How many points did you say?
13.5.
Yeah, give me Bama.
Army at Notre Dame. Notre Dame 14.5.
I hate how everyone's just acting like Notre Dame didn't lose to a middling MAC team based on all the recent rankings. Normally, I would say hammer Notre Dame, but I don't know. There's just something about this Army team. Plus, they're coming out with some sick-ass jerseys this week, so all vibes point to Army.
In a top 5 matchup at the noon hour.
Big noon kickoff.
Indiana at Ohio State. Ohio State by 12.5.
Wow, that's it, huh?
The top 5 matchup.
Indiana hasn't really played anybody.
Yep.
They've beaten the brakes off everybody that they should have. So, That being said, Ohio State is still a wagon. Give me Ohio State easily.
So, saw a cool little snippet earlier in the week or last week. This is going to be the 3rd top 5 matchup Ohio State has had this season.
Damn.
Yeah, played Oregon when we were both in the top 5. Penn State, we were both in the top 5. Now, Indiana, we're both in the top 5. 3 top 5 games in the same season. Indiana has never in their existence had a top 5 matchup.
Oh, so the guys that have been there and done that versus the new kids on the block that have no idea what they're walking into. Yeah, I could see Ohio State like starting off very slow and it like first quarter be kind of frustrating to watch as a fan, but it's gonna get away from Indiana. So I'm still liking Ohio State to cover this easy.
And what do you think the Maslin spread is?
We were talking about it earlier, and I was hoping you didn't say it, which you didn't, but you did say it's not in the 30s.
I did say that, yeah.
So give me Maslin minus 24.
23.5.
Damn! Right there. All right. Got a mind meld with our local bookie. Yeah. It'll be nice for us to not play a running clock game. But I feel like with the mismatch in the trenches and their less than stellar ability to throw the ball, let's call it, that this one might be over fairly quick. A lot of running the ball. A lot of our defense kind of overpowering them. I feel like Massillon, we handle it pretty easy, but I don't know if we cover just based on like the flow of the game.
Okay. Fast moving clock.
Yeah.
A lot of running the ball.
Yep. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I mean, we're just watching their film. They don't overly impress me. I would say that style of offense doesn't really work against us very well. But then again, every time we've lost a game in the last 5 years has been against that style offense. The difference is this team just does not have the players to do it. So I feel like it's one of those things where it either works or it doesn't. And if they finish the end of the first quarter with like -5 yards, like I would believe you.
Yeah. The one thing that gets me, and I think I was talking about this the last time we played them, is when like your tackle and your tight end go to shift and you jump off sides because of that. I feel like that should be false start offense. Because like
Well, there's a way to do it, you know. I mean, you can't be set.
Yeah.
Or if you do, you have to like come unset, and then it can't be a jerky motion. So I mean, there's a way of doing it, but yeah, you got to be disciplined also. Because yeah, you see a player in front of you move, and your first instinct is to move also. So I feel like if they shift and you jump, you should be allowed to like come back. You're also shifting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, you're allowed to jump. You're allowed to jump across the line and come back. To an extent. If you don't, yada yada. I mean, you're allowed to cross the line and come back as a defender. So I mean, if they're shifting, they're not like in the motion of starting a play. You have to wait for them to come set anyway. So I feel like you should be allowed to cross and come back.
Yeah, I mean, you're not allowed to do that in high school at all, I thought.
What, go across and come back?
Yeah.
It happens all the time.
No, if you cross, like they flag that immediately in high school. And
yeah, it just depends. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Just watch it. Maybe that is the rule, and they just say, "Oh, he didn't cross." It's just one of those things where it's like in the interior, if you're crossing the line, you're probably so close to somebody.
You're gonna touch
them. Well, even if you don't touch them, I think that's what they're trying to stop is like that encroachment.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're in like a wide 9, 11, 15, and you kind of like step across real quick and then come back,
Yeah, let me line up in a wide 15 real quick. Really,
Hey, you want sacks or not?
Yeah, that's why I'm putting them in a 9 and not a 15. That's the outside shoulder of the slot receiver.
They won't see it. You never just did a slot blitz in your life.
I ran a safety blitz once, not a slot blitz.
Oh, you're crazy. You don't blitz from the slot? We blitz from the slot.
Oh, you mean teams in general, not me specifically. Yeah.
Well, I'm not going to blitz you from the slot.
You can blitz me you can blitz me from deep though.
I'm saying besides listen, just in general, high schoolers are so stupid.
Yeah.
Or ill prepared, I guess, or not given the tools because you just don't see stuff like this. I guarantee if you took all 4 defensive linemen and just moved them over onto the right tackle, all 4 of them, that quarterback and the rest of the linemen are going to look at this like, shit, we don't know what to do. All right, ready. They're just gonna snap the ball. Like if the coach doesn't call timeout, they're running the play.
Yeah.
And you've got 3 guys coming free off the edge. That left guard is still kick stepping, looking for work. Like has no clue. You just bring everybody off of one edge. I mean, it's high school ball. I mean, you could probably do that at all levels. You're going to confuse the shit out of people. But like you just really want to risk it for the biscuit. Like, hey, they're passing right here. We know they're passing. We're bringing everybody off the same edge. Let's go. But my point is if you took your defensive end and you just walked him out and like he doesn't even have to pretend. Like kids are so dumb. You just like just stand up and look at the slot receiver. That left tackle is gonna be like, oh yeah, he's not coming, and then you just go.
I mean, okay, 90% of the time you're right. There have been a couple times from like schools that absolutely surprised me that we've ran like the slot blitz or that kind of thing, where the only thing that's really showing it is, when you see a safety stacked over top of your slot defender, it's like, okay, that's a blitz.
Mm-hmm.
Quarterback should see it. But like I've seen it where we've done that and the tackle like points it out and gets him. And the only reason we win is because we just send more guys and they have blockers.
Yeah.
But if I get 4 guys off my right tackle, I'm running inside zone left, and that might as well be the quickest halfback screen you ever seen in your life, because 3 or 4 of my offensive linemen are getting up to the second and third level before you even know what's going on.
You're only running that if that's what you called in the huddle. These high school kids are not calling an audible because the defense lined up weird.
You never seen a check with me before?
They should, but they're not going to. Yeah, I mean, the teams that do check with me, you don't do it against them. Or you line up normal, let them do their check with me, and then, yeah.
Yeah. There is a place for it, and we might install that whenever we end up at some 0-10 cornfield school where we're just running cover 0 all game. We'll keep that in the playbook.
Listen, we could go take over like Minerva next week, and it's gonna be the split out, 4 down linemen, and we're just doubling up both tackles. One guy's job is just to hit the tackle in as hard as he can, and the other guy runs around.
Yeah, there's a place for that.
There is a place for it. It's called We Know They're Passing. Listen, I'm all for the Bush League stuff. I'm just saying, high schoolers, there are teams that are really smart. There are players that are really smart, but like just in general, across the board, you've seen some of these teams we've been playing lately. These are playoff teams in Division II. And you could throw some wacky shit at them, and they're just going to be like, yeah, whatever. I'll blame it on my coach. He never taught me what to do if they line up 6 guys on my left tackle right now. Set up. Coach, you didn't. You should have called a timeout. You should have saw that.
Is he saying that like through the concussion after like 3 guys come free off the edge?
Yeah, I mean, you get to speak freely after you get your bell rung.
That's true. I suppose you get a free pass to say whatever you want when you can when you know what Tuesday smells like.
Yeah, listen, if a team brings 6 off the edge and your coach lets it happen, you just remind him that your uncle's a lawyer on the way back to the sideline.
Oh,
well, hey, what did you see out there, kid? Not much, but my uncle's a lawyer. You should know that, Looked at his assistant coach. What does that mean? He's not athletic. I don't know.
What'd you see out there, kid? Free lawsuit for reckless endangerment.
Yeah. You just do, it's like when you're playing Madden and you just do like field goal block against your little brother that like is trying to hand it off because that's all they know how to do.
Yeah.
Like they have 11 guys on the defensive line. Coach, run the play. We are in empty and it's QB draw. Run the play.
You'll find a crease, kid. I believe in you.
Yeah, I could just throw it to run the play. No.
God, I love high school ball so much. Oh, yeah, man.
You've seen what happened when we play these D2 teams in the playoffs. Like, just imagine what happens at D4, 5, 6, 7 schools.
Yeah.
You could get away with murder.
Well, there's like 2 refs out there.
That's what I'm saying. You score. First off, we're always taking the ball. Okay, we want the ball first.
All right.
Because then we're going to go down and score on like some Bush League trick play. We're going to tell the ref it's make it, take it.
I'm glad you were going that way because I was going to
with him.
I was about to say
he agrees with you.
Yeah.
It is make it, take it. Come on, this is D7. You don't do many D7. It's make it, take it. Force him to kick. Let's go.
Yeah, you just bust out a rule book from like 1908 when it was actually make it, take it, and you show them like exactly where it is in the bylaws that is make it, take it.
Yeah.
They're not going to do anything. That ref can't even read. He's just like, he's looking at the words.
He's like, shit, I don't get paid by the hour. Okay, let's go. Keep it going.
Yep.
Let's go.
Make it, take it. Make it, take it, boys.
Just tell them you're going to sit there until an OHSAA commissioner comes down to explain the rules, or we can keep the game moving. Your choice. All right, they're receiving again.
And there's just like one guy in the stands losing his absolute mind.
Yeah.
All right, shut up, Bob. We know what we're doing out here.
Mm-hmm.
You just know everyone by name. Oh, my God. High school ball is the greatest. Dude. Yeah. Oh, you missed it. You weren't there. Yeah, it was like week 1 of the playoffs whenever they called us for a false start when our tight end stood up. And, like, you know, Chip has a rule book on him, and he whips it out. And it's like, it's a pocket-sized rule book. So it's like, you know, would look pocket-sized in anybody else's hands. In his hands, it's like a
pack of Tic Tacs.
Yeah. In his hands, he's holding a pack of Tic Tacs. And then the refs whip out their rule book, and by God, if it's not the biggest fucking binder you've ever seen in your life, it's like neon yellow. We're not losing this thing. Where were you keeping that in the first place?
Yeah.
That's taking up at least like 3 seats in the stands, which I imagine is where you had to keep it, because otherwise you throw it on the sideline somewhere. It's a hazard anywhere you put it.
So what was the rule? I mean, it's interpretive. Like,
so
I wonder what they were trying to argue. Because all they have to do is say it was a jerky motion, and you know it's judgmental. They might have gotten it wrong, but like, you know, I saw you cross the double yellow. No, you didn't. I think I did.
No, so the rule they flagged it because I think it was like, you know, 3rd and short, 4th and short, or something like that, and we ran check with me, and the tight end like just stood up to look. Nobody jumped, and they threw the flag on him for moving. And after like a 10-minute fight, when, you know, these guys had to get out just the biggest rule book that ever was, they ended up waving the flag off. Because a tight end is allowed to stand up from his stance.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we used to do it where you didn't put your hand down. Mm-hmm. Because then you can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, even with your hand down, you still can get up. It just has to be smooth.
Yep. Yeah, because that was the biggest tell for our check with me for the longest time, is if we were in a 2-point stance, and then it was check with me all the way. And then I think last year, or maybe the year before, we changed it up to where like the hand was down but not necessarily in the dirt. So it like looked like a 3-point stance, but it was just like kind of, you know, hanging there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I don't know. I've never actually like looked at the rule book. Don't even know like where I would necessarily find it. But yeah, no, you can absolutely just like lean on some of these refs, and they're just going to have to believe you, just based on how confidently you say it.
Yeah, that's why I've always said, like, it's really important to lean on the refs during the game. Mm-hmm. You know, there should be one coach on the sideline that is just yelling in the ref's ear every single play, like, for something specific. You know, like, number 24 is holding. 24 is holding every time. 24 is holding. 24 is holding. Because eventually that ref is going to look, and he's going to see, like, something that may or may not even look like holding, but like now he's looking for it.
Yeah.
You are guaranteed to get one flag a game just by asking for it repetitively. Eventually the ref will call it.
That is a fine line.
No matter what it is.
No
matter what it is.
That's a fine line, though, because if you're too over the top with it, I can absolutely see some refs just looking at you like, shut the fuck up, and then just not call a damn thing the rest of the game.
Oh, even better. You don't want them to call anything. But I'm just saying, it's very natural. Here's the thing. Refs want to make calls.
Yeah.
That's like...
I know.
It's unfortunate because, you know, it should be fair. I mean, not to say it's not fair and 50-50, but it's kind of like, here is what should get called, here's what shouldn't get called. The refs want to make calls. So, like, if you're going a while without one, like, they're looking for it. That's their job. Their job is to look for penalties. They're not out there looking to make sure everything's smooth. If it's good, it's good. They're specifically looking for penalties. So, like, it's almost like they feel like they're not doing their job if they're not finding anything. Mm-hmm. Because you know there's penalties out there. If you're not throwing flags, that means you're not doing your job. And that's kind of like how they see it. They are specifically looking for penalties. They want to call stuff. And sometimes it's bad because they start nitpicking, or they look at something, they go, ooh, I think he held on that one. I'm going to keep an eye on him next play. And that's not how it should be.
Mm.
You should be doing your same scan every time. But they start to pick up on that stuff. It's like, ooh, I think he got away with that one. That wasn't bad. And then you watch him again and you go, ooh, okay, that was good. All right, good, good, good. And then, nope, got him. Yep, there it is. I saw it. And like, that's just the way it goes. You know, like I've refereed enough basketball that like it's natural to want to do that.
Mm.
When you're watching stuff, you're noticing little things, and it's just a checklist in the back of your mind, just like, oh yeah, I remember, this guy that does this, and that guy does that, and he's been riding that line all game. That one time that he steps over, I'm going to call it. It just happens. So you ride that ref, and you just let them know somebody's doing something wrong. They will call it.
Yeah, and I mean, there's penalties on every play. Like, if you go back and look, you're going to find something. Like, I remember talking with a buddy of mine that coaches at a local school. It was after the Green game in 21 where it was like we just got hammered with the penalties.
20 penalties that game.
Yeah, and he's like,
20.
I went back and looked, and every single one of those penalties was good. Like, yeah.
Well, yeah, every penalty all right. Most penalties are legitimate penalties by the book.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean it's correct in the flow of the game.
Right. And also, like, it's confirmation bias. It's there because you're looking for it. And if you did this, I could hand you, like, any 20 plays from literally any game and tell you there was a flag called somewhere. You're going to see the flag. Like, it's just, like, it's what happens. And it's kind of unfortunate because some of these refs just go over the fucking top, like the Green game. And, I want a ref that's going to swallow the whistle every time. Unless it's egregious, do not throw a flag. Give me that. Give me that guy. That is my perfect referee.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody wants. It obviously it gets irritating when you see something that you wanted a penalty for and you don't get it.
Mm.
But I think at the end of the day, like, fans recognize that they're not really calling anything either way. Like, this is good.
Yeah.
This is good. No need to throw flags. Like, we're fine.
Yep. Like, unless you are actively getting hosed, I think any fan will take a no call over way too many flags.
Yeah, yep. For sure.
So, in summation, Big Walnut plus 23.5. Bush League works. Lean on the refs.
Yeah.
All right, brother. You got anything else tonight?
Don't think so.
Cool. So with that, we'll see everybody out in Mansfield. Get out there, get loud, pack the stadium. It is not unfamiliar territory for us. Bring an extra tire or two because, we have been known to have a little vandalism out there. And with that, go Tigers, beat the Eagles.
Go Tigers.